Hi everyone, I am Avni and I am here to represent myself on the topic implementation of atomicity and durability. It is the most important part of a database management system. Without wasting any time, let us move on to the session, and in this session we are going to study terminologies related to atomicity and durability. Secondly, transactions, what are transactions? And third, atomicity and durability meaning and definition. And last and most important thing, which is implementation of atomicity and durability and how the system handles it. Moving on to terminologies. First term is transaction. So what is a transaction? A transaction can be defined as a group of tasks. A single task is the minimum processing unit which cannot be divided any further. The second term for the session is database recovery. It is the process of restoring database and the data to a consistent state. That is the way in which data was lost. The recovery of the database is finds the data in the same state. That is, this may include restoring lost data up to the point of event. For example, system crash. The third term for the day is atomicity. Atomicity means that you guarantee that either all of the transaction succeeds or none of it does. That means there can be no partial transaction in any DBMS. The fourth term is consistency. This ensures that we guarantee all the data will be consistent and will be valid according to the defined rules, including any constraints and triggers that we have applied to the database. The fifth term is isolation. Isolation guarantees that every transaction will occur in isolation. No transaction will get affected by any other transaction. So a transaction cannot read data from any other transaction that has not yet completed. The next term is durability. Durability that means that once a transaction is committed, it will remain in the system even if there is a system crash immediately following the transaction. Any changes from the transaction must be stored permanently. So the next topic of this session is transactions. As we have discussed earlier, what is a transaction? A transaction can be defined as a group of tasks. A single task is the minimum processing unit which cannot be divided any further. Let's take an example of a simple transaction. Suppose a bank employee transfers rupees 500 from A's account to B's account. This transaction involves several tasks. This is the whole complete transaction, and we can see in the slide that the transaction is broken into two pieces. The first transaction will be shown in A's account and second transaction will be shown in B's account. So the first transaction, A's account, will contain many sub tasks which are open account, that is for to transfer money we obviously have to open the account, and then we will see the old balance which is equal to A dot balance, that is account balance of A. Then the next task will be new balance equal to old balance minus 500. That means we have deducted 500 rupees from A's account. So this will also be a task. Then we will see the new balance. Then A balance, that means balance of account of A, will be equals to new balance, which is old balance minus 500 rupees. And then we will close the account. And the second transaction will be in B's account. We will do the same, but the process will be a bit different. That is, we will open B's account obviously for the transaction purpose. Second task will be old balance equal to B dot balance, which is the previous balance of B's account, and new balance will be equal to old balance plus 500, as we have transacted the money from A's account into B's account. So it's obvious that the money will be added in B's account. So the new balance will be equal to B dot balance, and new balance will be old balance plus 500 rupees, and then we will close the account of B. Moving on to our next topic, which is meaning of atomicity and durability. What is atomicity? Atomicity can be defined as transaction involving two or more discrete pieces of information in which either all of the pieces are committed or none of them are. That is, as we previously discussed, there should be no partial transaction. Second is durability. It is nothing but the committed data saved by the system such that even in the event of failure, the data is saved, and thus even if the system restarts, the data is available in its correct form. Moving on further, we have arrived to the most important topic of the session, which is implementation of atomicity and durability. The recovery management component of any database system can support atomicity and durability by providing a variety of schemes. We will consider just a simple but extremely inefficient scheme, which is called shadow copy scheme. This scheme is based on making the copies of the database called shadow copies. Assumes that only one transaction is active at a time. This scheme also assumes that database is simply a file on disk. A point called DB pointer is maintained on disk. It points to the current copy of the database. In the shadow copy scheme, a transaction that wants to update the database first creates a complete copy of the database. All updates are done on the new database copy, leaving the original copy and the shadow copy untouched. If at any point the transaction has to be aborted, the system merely deletes the new copy. The old copy of the database has not been affected. Again, if the transaction is complete, it is committed as follows. First, the operating system is asked to make sure that all the pages of the new copy of the database have been written out to disk. For example, Unix system uses the flush command for this purpose, and different operating systems can have different commands for this purpose. After the operating system has written all the pages to the disk, the database system updates the pointer, which is DB pointer, to point to the new copy of the database. The new copy then becomes the current copy of the database. The old copy of the database is then deleted as it does not have any further use. The above figure, which is in the previous slide, depicts the scheme showing the database state before and after the update. Moving on, we are now going to discuss how this technique handles the transaction failures. So, if the transaction fails at any time before DB pointer is updated, the old contents of the database are not affected, which assures atomicity of the system and as well as durability. The system cannot abort the transaction just by deleting the new copy of the database. It is the second fact about the technique handling of transaction failure. Thirdly, once the transaction has been committed, all the updates that are performed are in the database pointed to by the DB pointer. Thus, either all updates of the transaction are reflected or none of the effects are reflected, regardless of the transaction failure by the system. So this is how the technique is handled in this technique handles the transaction failures. Now we have come across the last topic of the session, which is how the technique handles system failure. Earlier we have seen how the technique handles transaction failure. Now we have come to how the technique handles the system failures. Suppose that the system fails at any time before the updated DB pointer is written to disk. Then when the system restarts, it will read DB pointer and will thus see the original contents of the database, and none of the effects of the transaction will be visible on the database. Next, suppose that the system fails after DB pointer has been updated on the disk. Before the pointer is updated, all the updated pages of the new copy of the database were written to the disk. Again, we assume that once a file is written to disk, its contents will not be damaged even if there is a system failure. Therefore, when the system restarts, it will read DB pointer and will thus see the contents of the database after all the updates performed by the transaction. We have reached the end of the session, and it's the last thing that I would like to tell you, which is an interesting fact about computer coding languages. There are about 698 coding languages across the world. Thank you.